We are taking a look here at OHA's analytics for the second quarter of 2019, and overall things are looking fairly level. We have a few areas that went down in a meaningful way, maybe not even quite meaningful, bordering on meaningful. And then we have a few areas that went up just a bit, but nothing too spectacular in either direction right now, really. So we get to look at the main numbers here, and we see that our users went down 4%. Anytime we're dealing with those low single digits, it's not really too terribly meaningful, and you don't want to read too much into it. Those variances can be in large part attributed just to chance. And so we don't want to put too much stock in anything that's in that sub 5% type category for the most part. And new users down nearly 5%, sessions down about the same, number of sessions per user very, very close to the same, essentially even. And we have page views down ever so slightly, pages per sessions up ever so slightly, and average duration up ever so slightly, with bounce rates ever so slightly down. So it's really just pretty similar to what we have been seeing all along this year, so it's pretty steady. Let's take a look here at the weeks, and you can see that the orange there is the previous quarter, and we had a few more high moments throughout that quarter, but then a little more steady on the blue, but nothing too much. This part that goes down here at the end, all we're looking at here is just there was a partial week. That's the only reason it goes way down. So overall, steady on our big numbers here. We take a look at the demographics here, then we see that for age and gender, we had a little shifting going on, nothing too big. Let's look at the gender over here first, and we go from 66% female down to 63.5%. We lost about 3% females, gained about 3% males. Pretty similar numbers, though, nothing too big to be concerned about. If those sort of trends ever continue, then we want to think through them a little more carefully, but then for the most part, they're fine. Look over here at the age. It's a little easier to see it here on this screen, I think, if we look at the chart here. And we see that we have 45 to 54. That's our biggest group here still, and that increased a little bit, went up a little bit for 35 to 44. Those are good things. Those are some of our biggest audiences that we want to be targeting. And a little down on 25 to 34, a little down on 55 to 64, 65 plus, a little up. And then 18 to 24 isn't too big of an issue for us to be considering. Of course, sometimes it matters for them to be coming to the website, and they're worth targeting to some extent, but not the main target audience, and they stayed fairly steady. When we come over here, we can take a look here at the geographic areas. And of course, the United States is always going to be on the top. We went down just a little bit as a overall percentage of what they are making up of our total viewers. That's not ideal, but it's not a big deal as long as it doesn't go in that direction for a long time to come. Now, Missouri did also go down in its percentage of people who were viewing it of the states that we have here in our own country, and that's not really where we're wanting to be for OHA overall, I don't believe. And Illinois went up 46%, so a meaningful amount. California went up, and then a few other places up and down, but our biggest changes came from those top three right there. Missouri went down a bit, and Illinois and California went up a meaningful amount. When we look within Missouri, then we see that while we have the same basic look to these things, then our direction for the areas that we care about the most are not necessarily quite what we're wanting. They're not big numbers, though, so it's nothing to be terribly concerned about. But Springfield and Ozark, Nixa, then those are either staying even or going down. And Branson is pretty significantly down. We see some big gains here in Columbia, and we're up a little ways in a few others too. But it's nothing too big, nothing to be very concerned about, but we want to keep an eye on it. We want to make sure that we're targeting those people that are more directly in the Springfield region, since that's the biggest audience that you all can be reaching that is going to result in your overall goals being achieved. Take a quick look here at new versus returning people, and we see our new visitors are down a bit and our returning visitors are up. And so then the numbers going down are associated with getting new people to the website, and it's not a big change, so you don't want to worry about it too much, but we stayed pretty much where we were on returning visitors. When we come down here over to mobile, you can see that the people viewing the site on mobile devices is up just a bit this time, and so for non-mobile devices, then we go from 58.6 to 53, and we had gains in both tablets and in mobile devices. So a bit of a shift there, nothing huge, normal fluctuation that we might expect, but we do want to keep an eye on it and see if our target audience is changing how they're accessing the website. If that ever becomes too drastic, we want to explore options of how to better target those who are most likely to be reaching the site. When we come down here and look at acquisition, we get a little bit better picture of how things came to be different this time. Organic search down ever so slightly, direct search pretty even, but then the rest of these have some meaningful shifts. When we look at display, then that's up a good deal, and so that comes through KY3 News app that most of these things are coming through and they're up a good deal. Don't know precisely what sort of ad system that is that's going on there. You all probably have a better idea on that, but it did lead towards some meaningful growth. When we're back over here at our overview, then we can see that referral is down a bit, probably just being replaced by that display is my guess. And then paid search is down, but it was almost nothing to begin with, so then not something that we really need to be concerned with. We do see up here that social is also down a meaningful amount. And so Facebook went from having 175 users visiting the site in the first quarter of 2019 down to 75 users in the second quarter. And that's enough of a drop to be a bit of a concern. And I don't know all the answers right off, and that's not really what we're exploring right now, but it's something that you want to consider. Has there been a shift in strategy? Has there been a shift in ad money that has been devoted to that? You might want to look into that a little more and figure out whether there's some changes that need to be made in that area. If we look up here, we can see that we have these spikes from the orange, several big ones, and the orange here is the first quarter. And then in the second quarter, we really only have one story that ever went and much of anywhere it looks like. And most of the time, it's pretty sparse on there. If you look at the weeks, I bet it'll be even more noticeable here. We got a whole bunch of times the orange that it's up, and just this one time that the blue ever gets up there. So I want to keep an eye on that and see which stories are really getting the response that we're looking for. If we click here within Facebook, it's not going to give us those individual stories right now, actually, I guess. So might want to take a closer look at that with Jillian at some point and figure out what it is that we might be able to do to get back on the right track with that. Come down here and look at behavior. We get to see the pages that are most commonly visited on the website. And homepage, of course, is most visited. It's ever so slightly up. You see this really big increase here for our team. And that's not a real increase, though. There's just been a change in the URL for the page. And so it had been our staff before, I believe. And so then that's not a real shift of several 100% like that. It stayed relatively even from last quarter to this quarter. Bill pay did go up a meaningful amount, and so then you have a lot more people that are accessing that page. Hopefully that means that they're utilizing it in a good way that's helpful to you all. And then we've got a big change here in Karen services. And let's see, is that going to open up for us? Yeah, there are Karen services pages. So we actually got a meaningful number of people going there. I'm not sure if that was just a change in the URL or not. I'm thinking it's not just that, but I'm not positive. I didn't look into that beforehand, unfortunately. Then we see that then we do have some normal fluctuations in these other areas, and our staff is down like we spoke about before. So nothing that's too big to be considering, I don't think, but we'll just keep an eye on it and see what comes up in the future quarter to see if there can be any trends that we spot in the future. Come down here to events, and we can take a quick look here to see what people are actually doing on the website. You can see here that the forms being submitted on the website are up significantly. That would be associated, I think, with the bill pay, that's tracking that as well, but primarily with then people submitting forms for interest in your company. Hopefully you're seeing some sort of reflection of that. And then on phone calls, then they're relatively steady, down just a bit, but relatively steady there. So not a big shift in any way there. And let's see, there's one other place that we were wanting to look at here. And down here at goals, I knew there was something else here that I wanted to check out here real quick. So we have here the bill pay. We mentioned that before. And the people that have completed the goal of utilizing bill pay has gone up significantly. And so hopefully that's a sign that things are moving in a good direction for you all in that regard. A few other goals here. I'm not precisely sure what they were set up to mean originally. But we are moving in somewhat of a good direction, it looks like, in those things. So overall, then things are steady and maybe slightly down compared to what they were. Overall, they are slightly down, but nothing too big, no big shifts. Hopefully we can pick a bit of a difficult time. Let's compare this real quickly to last year at this time. and it looks like we are down a meaningful amount in several areas, but we've continue to make gains in session duration and number of sessions per user. And so I believe that then that's because of being more and more focused on the people who are visiting our website. Then it is getting more and more to a place of having those people value the content there a good deal. And so even though our numbers are down significantly from this time last year on the users and the page views, then the amount of time they're spending is significantly up, and the number of sessions per user is up significantly as well. So overall, I think we're moving in a good direction, and we're getting people to go to the inside of the site a little bit more. But we do want to pick it up here in the fall, and hopefully that will happen through Facebook ads and through getting a good organic search set up. So let us know if you have any questions, and we're happy to help out and give a little guidance, and we will continue to watch this for you.